10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Champions! Wrexham are promoted! They have their storybook ending!
You can walk through the fire. You can walk through the fire. When it's down to the wire. You can walk through the
fire. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 90 of the Wrexham Texan. And as soon as I went live, my internet got worse. So if you're watching, please in the comments, let me know if the audio is poor. The video can be poor. It is what it is. I'm up on a Starlink Mini, which is about the size of my laptop. It's tiny and it's shooting all the way out of space. So the video is not always going to be perfect. We just bought a new Starlink, but haven't installed it yet. So the internet will get better, but it is not going to be better tonight. So yes, please, if my audio is terrible, please leave a comment so that I can try to fix it while the internet's been bad. Let's see. Let me turn that off. All right. I have nothing other than the computer is now using the internet. So hopefully that helps. Y'all, welcome to episode 90. I don't have headphones on today because we're not going to be playing anything. I'm not going to be showing anything. We're going to be discussing season 4, episode 1 of Welcome to Wrexham, the show that got this show started. Looking back on like season 1, I mean, that's pretty much what solidified my love for the club and my love for the town. So season 2 was also very good. Season 3 I thought was a down season, but season 4 started off with a bang, and I thought it was a phenomenal episode. Extremely well done. First episodes of documentary series, especially when they have to recount everything that's happened over the last few months, kind of, it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to pack it all in there and see and kind of show everything that happened in the months and months and months. I guess 3 or 4 months. So months and months and months and months. There we go. of off time from when the last episode ended. But I thought they did a fantastic job. We start out meeting the new CEO. He seems fantastic. I know he's American, and I know that's gonna I'm sure that upset some people at the time. Look, I will say I try to not pay attention to behind the scenes things very much during the year, specifically so that I can watch the documentary and be surprised and learn things in the documentary. Like I try to keep most of my knowledge to transfers and results and matches and squads, but I don't do a ton of keeping up with the behind the scenes things, the stuff that happens on the financial side of it. That's not my expertise. And it's just not something that I want to keep track of year round. Documentary to do that so that then I can comment on how they presented in the documentary. So, this new CEO seems fantastic. I mean, he's an accountant. So he's about as cool as an accountant can be, which I don't know what the rankings of cool people are, but accountant isn't up there. So, but he seems like the top of that profession. The fact that he was CEO at Inter Milan is unbelievable. Or CFO? Was he CFO or CEO? I think he was CFO. That's unbelievable. and he started out in America. And I know, there were some complaints that Echo quit it. Sorry, my dog is making too much noise in the background. It's driving me crazy. There were some complaints that he was, that he is American, and they didn't try to hire somebody from Wales, or specifically Wrexham. But you got to hire the people who are best for the job. You can't just hire based on location and based on nationality. So that's not something that I really care that much about. Like I wouldn't be upset, or I wasn't upset when the Texas A&M Aggies hired somebody who coached at Florida State University. That shouldn't be something that we get preoccupied with. But we hired him. He's done a phenomenal job. It's very clear that he did a phenomenal job this season. And I'm sure we'll learn more and more about him. But like him moving to Wrexham, it was interesting that he stated that he wanted to stick around, but you never know what could happen. It's generally not something that people say when they're starting out at a new job. I like the honesty. I get why it would give some people some hesitation or some fear that he might just up and leave. But overall, I like that he was honest about that. And I like that he's realistic about life. And you just never know where life's going to take you. So 10 years ago, if you just said, Jake, you're going to be living in the mountains in a house that you're building by hand with your wife and 2 dogs, off grid, I'd have laughed in your face, because I would not think that was at all possible. Echo, do you want to say hello? Come here. Come here. Come here. You could say hello. Say hello to the people. There you go. Let's tilt this down a little bit. There you go, buddy. This is Echo. He's my dog. He's a very sweet dog, and he's been trying to kill too many things out here, so I had to put a collar on him so he would leave some baby chipmunks alone. Right, buddy? You got into the baby chipmunk nest. All right, go play. Yeah, I think he set the stage for what was needed. I mean, the fact that he came from Inter Milan, a club that is much, much bigger than us, definitely means that he and he was successful there. Definitely means that he is able to see what we're going to need and make adjustments and make recommendations and kind of lay out exactly what the future is going to look like, which they talked about at the end of the episode, which we'll get to in a minute. Yeah, I like that he talked about growth and about how, football is a flashy money machine. So many players make so much more money than 99.99% of people on earth. And it definitely kind of flies in the face of what Wrexham, the town of Wrexham, is about, especially the side of the town that's depicted in the documentary. He mentioned, like, at some point you're going to have a player driving their Lamborghini down the main street, and that's a different feel. Like that changes. That would change the feel of the club, and I feel like over time that would change the feel of the town. And everything has to evolve in some way, shape, or form, but I like that he has that in mind, that he is like, okay, we either have to choose to go the flashy route, get the top players no matter the cost, or we try to foster the same environment that got us to this point. I really like that. And I really hope it's going to be the latter. I don't know, you just don't know. Like we're not behind the scenes. We're not the ones making the decisions, and you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like I know Parky is phenomenal at putting together squads that coalesce very well, that really get along and have the same vibe and work hard and are not prideful and don't have huge egos. Everybody seems to be able to get along, put their differences aside if they have any, or just live in symbiosis. And yeah, I just like that the CEO is making sure that's top of mind during this substantial amount of growth over the last 3 seasons. I think that's amazing. So yeah, I thought it was a great introduction for him. I thought it was a perfect way to introduce him at the beginning of the first episode of season 4. I thought it was great. I mean, obviously we're going to miss Floor, and we've missed Floor this year, but he seems awesome. And yeah, and then we moved on to the Arthur story, and I had completely, sorry, there we go. I had completely forgotten that for a long period of time, we didn't think Arthur was going to be coming back. I've just grown so accustomed to him at this point that I had forgotten that fact. And it was really fun to see, to have them show how many people were begging him to stay. I mean, I remember McLean posting on his Instagram, or commenting on one of Okonkwo's Instagram posts about that, and basically saying, sign the daggum contract. And it's it was very clear Arthur should be way too expensive for us. He was with Arsenal, and I don't know which other teams were super interested in him, but there were some heavy hitters who were very interested in a guy like that. And it makes sense because he is outstanding. 19 clean sheets on the season. And it was really, I really like getting to know some of the folks who have shown up the past couple seasons, and aren't as vocal in the media or on their Instagram and stuff like that. And Arthur's one of those. I like getting to know him and kind of trying to figure out his personality, because he's very stoic, I think, most of the time. And it's kind of hard to get a grasp on who that guy is. So hopefully we get to see more of him this season. And then, also the Mullen thing. It was, second season in a row where Mullen starts off with an injury, and a surgery. And it just never, throughout the whole season, never unfolded for Mullen. He played a couple games, did okay, had one of the best shots of the season, had one of the best goals of the season. But overall, very underwhelming season for Mullen. And they kind of set the stage for that in this first episode of the documentary. Like, it's extremely difficult to have back surgery and then come back from that, pun intended, and play at the level in which we needed him to play, especially like that kind of back surgery. It was to the point where he was about to lose feeling in his left leg. You got to get the surgery. So I'm very glad he did. I'm sad that it kind of ruined the season for him, but life's give and take. So you get what you get. The Rex Coast tour. So I got to say, all of the Wrexham games when they come over here have been thousands of miles away from me. I have not gotten a chance to get to go to a Wrexham game when they've been in the States, and it's very disappointing. They've stuck to the coasts, and not come anywhere near Georgia. So I didn't get to go to this one. Didn't get to go to the one the year before. And this coming summer, it seems like they're going to Australia and New Zealand. So not going to get to go to that. One of my friends, Steve Irwin, did get to go to one of the games. I think he went to the Chelsea game where we drew 2-2. Yeah. I'm fairly certain he got on camera and was really hoping to be in the documentary, but sadly I didn't see him. He could have gone on and I didn't see him, but I didn't see him appear. So the Rex Coast tour, it is what it is. I don't really care for exhibition games all that much. Like, I understand the hype. They just don't mean anything. And for me, if I'm a player and I'm playing an exhibition game, in a country where I already have a huge fan base. Like, I don't know. The stakes are entertain the fans or get hurt. It just doesn't seem worth it to play these kinds of exhibition games to me. Like, and we all saw the consequences of what happened to Mullen last season, 2 seasons ago, whatever it was, 2 summers ago, where he got destroyed by a goalie, and that ended that destroyed, like, that messed up his entire season. So I don't care for these summer tours. I'm going to say it. Like, that's a hot take, and I'm sure a lot of people will not care for that, but I don't care for the summer tours. I'm sure it's great for fans to go see them if you're in the area. Like, mind you, if one came to Montana, I'd go see him. But if they didn't happen at all, I wouldn't be upset. I'd prefer if we spent that entire time working towards next season. And I know you kind of are working towards next season by playing these, exhibition games, but really it's really just entertainment, and it's not sport. So I don't know. Y'all have any thoughts on that? Because I might be pissing a lot of people off with that take, but whatever. I'd prefer the first time I see Wrexham play, I want that to be in Wales at the Stoke Kairos, or if timing doesn't work out properly, at an away stadium. And that's the plan for this coming season. So yeah, the best thing I think that came out of the documentary during the Rex Coast was Parky actually smiled and seemed happy during one of the interviews. So I thought that was fantastic. It was interesting seeing the women's team play U.S. women's football. Sorry, it's soccer here in the States. So, but that's the thing. Like, the U.S. men's team is always decently good. National team. Like, we're decent at football. We're not amazing. We should be amazing. We have enough talent in the United States to make that happen. The thing is, men are mostly attracted to baseball, football, and basketball here in the States. So most of the talent that could be out on that football pitch, American football, sorry, most of the talent that could be out on the soccer/football pitch end up going into other sports. And so that's where most of our talent ends up going. Whereas with women, they do not have American football. They don't have professional baseball. They do have softball, but it's not nearly as big. One of the massive sports industries in America is women's soccer/football. And the evidence for that is clear. We've won multiple World Cups. I've known some women who played on those World Cup teams. And yeah, it was interesting to see how much space there was between American football and Welsh women's football. Yeah, I'm sure it was a big wake-up call. To be fair, like I said, the U.S. women's football is one of the best in the world. So it makes sense that there'd be a big gap in talent, but that can't be fun to travel thousands of miles to get smoked 3 out of 3 games. So I'm sure that doesn't inspire confidence. But if you've collected the right players, it will inspire them to work harder. So Rosie got into a little bit of trouble with some of her comments. Give me a break. Like, people say, people mess up and say things they're not supposed to say. Like I've said many things in my life that I wasn't supposed to say and that I regret and that weren't true, but I was just trying to think of it in the moment. On the flip side of what she said, LA is not that beautiful. There are some beautiful places in LA, but LA is, I lived there for 6 years. There's so many issues with LA. He only saw the very, very good parts, guaranteed. She didn't see the enormous homeless encampments. She didn't see the multitudes. Hang on a second. What was that? What was that, buddy? I heard something outside. She didn't see all the crime, all the neighborhoods where you don't want to go outside at night. Like she only saw the glitz and glam of Hollywood. She didn't see Los Angeles. Okay. So yeah, if you compare almost any city on earth with the like best parts of LA, they're all going to come up short. So in her defense, LA, she was only shown the top tier places in LA. Guaranteed they didn't go anywhere where anything bad could have possibly happened to them, or where they'd see anything ugly. So yeah, it's sad that so many people ragged on her and tried to get her to quit. I think that's stupid. Like show some forgiveness and have be okay with people who make a mistake and own up to their mistake. Like she clearly loves Wrexham and loves Wales and loves playing for the squad. So I've no distaste for Rosie. So I think that whole escapade was absurd. We then get to Humphrey saying in a meeting that, you know, if they don't get enough funds raised, then he'll run a marathon. And just the entire training part of this episode for Humphrey is so funny. Him running a marathon, I'm sure we'll get to see it on camera, and he's mentioned it quite a few times in the press and on Instagram. But he's such a tall guy that, and so clearly out of shape, that had to have been brutal for him. Height doesn't help you very much in long distance running. It's just added weight. You need, yeah. It's just him getting in the ice bath at the end was the kicker. That was so stinking funny to me. Yeah, it did set up a nice payoff for a future episode to have Humphrey begin his training. And I love that they're using Kevin and the training team to prepare him for his marathon run. And he just should never have said that in that meeting, because Rob and Ryan are the type of folks who they're going to take advantage of things you say in the funniest way possible. And this was one of those times. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing him running that marathon. We then got to the first like in-town story. You know, we've met a bunch of characters over the seasons, met a bunch of people. They're characters on a show, okay? They are people in real life, but we've met a bunch of these folks in Wrexham who are living out their lives in the town and have many, many good things going for them. And Rebecca's coffee cart is one of my favorite things. I thought that, first of all, I'm obsessed with coffee. I have either a latte or a cold brew or an espresso at least once a day. And I'm very, very picky. We have our own hand press espresso maker right there. It is absurd how much time it takes to make one little shot of espresso, but we do it every morning. And so I was super interested in her coffee cart, and she's just an absolute delight. Like she seems like super humble, extremely likable, clearly gets along with her family. Anybody who can work with their family in that capacity, in that type of a space, those are good people. Like that's difficult to do. Me and my brother would kill each other if we had to work in a coffee cart all day long. It would be ridiculous. It would be entertaining, but in a completely different way than it was entertaining for to see them in their coffee cart. Um, I do have to say, like, I prefer the coffee cart. Like, I know she talked about going into brick and mortar and actually setting up a shop. I disagree. I mean, maybe eventually after you have a couple carts, couple trailers, but man, I really like being mobile, being able to go where the business is. Um, if you set up a brick and mortar, and this is not business advice or financial advice, this is just thoughts that are going through my head. But if you set up a brick and mortar and the tourists stop coming to that area, or the people stop coming to that area, or something happens to that area, um, you're not mobile like you are in a cart. And I thought her cart was put together beautifully. I thought it was adorable. And when I go to Wrexham, I will 100% be visiting Rebecca's coffee cart. I'm I'm very excited about it. I paused it to look at the menu, and yeah, solid. So bravo, Rebecca. Keep it up. I like people who start their own businesses. I've started two. My wife has started a couple. Um, I like entrepreneurs, and I like people who get out there and do it themselves. So good job. That I really I love one of the lines she said was that she has a passion for genuine hospitality. How many people on earth can say that? Percentage wise, it's got to be a tiny amount, and it's incredibly refreshing to see somebody wants who like is so desirous of being in hospitality and taking care of people. That's incredible. And I very much respect that. And I respect her and her family for making that happen. So keep it up. Get another cart. Don't go into brick and mortar right away. um and I love that they got to sell coffee at the Stoke Kairos. Like I love that they Echo, you can get up, buddy. You can get up. Up. Good boy. Yeah, sit in your spot. I'll take your collar off. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. You can stare at me all you want. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going on a hike. It's too late at night. Where was I? Yeah. Yeah. I just like that the Stoke Kairos invited her in. I like that they do things like that rather than going for like a Starbucks, which can't stand Starbucks. I like that they keep it within the town and within the community, which is the whole goal, you know? So good on them. We get the unveiling of the Welsh Pool suit at, I don't even remember where they were now. I don't know. It's in a case, and you can go see it. It's in a pub. I think it's in a pub. It's in the pub. Good Lord. I don't remember. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't look. This is going to be heresy. People are going to hate me for this. I couldn't get through Deadpool 3. I didn't think it was very good. I loved the first Deadpool. The second Deadpool was good. I thought the third Deadpool was not my cup of tea. I was on a plane, mind you. So that's how much I disliked it. I was captive on a plane, unable to go anywhere. And 40 minutes in, I was like, I can't watch this anymore. So turned it off. Sorry. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. So I will go back and watch the first Deadpool repeatedly because I thought it was incredible. I didn't get to the part where Paul Mullen and Ollie Palmer were in it. That's kind of the whole point of me watching it, but I just couldn't sit through it. So apologies, everybody. All right, we then come to the one thing this show does extremely well, which is actually a very difficult thing to do, and people have tried this. There's a show. It's not a documentary series. It's called Life in Pieces. They did this style very well, which is tell a whole bunch of little micro stories during episodes. Life in Pieces is about a big old family, and they show different pieces, life in pieces of that family's story throughout the day or week or whatever. Very funny show. I think it lasted 3 seasons. But that's a hard thing to do and still make it feel cohesive and relevant. And this is where I thought they didn't do an extremely good job in the 3rd season, but they brought it back. Like this season, I think they did it for this episode. Fantastic job. And so, yeah, then we get to the final little story, which is the new CEO lays out that we have 2 options. By we, I mean Rob and Ryan, not me and not you. They can either choose to play it safe, build a program from the bottom up, most likely remain in League One for a while, but build up the youth program, build up the women's side, build out the stadium, the Kairos, and hopefully, get promoted in 5 to 10 years, which, that's a fair thing to do. That's playing it safe, safer. It's still, everything that you do in football is a risk, especially at this level. And it would have been interesting to see them choose that. Because I think that would have been counter to everything that they'd done to this point. They haven't taken their foot off the gas since they got the club. And you could so clearly see that Rob just wanted to go for it, but he waited and Ryan said, yeah, let's go for it. And they went with option 2, which is spend a crap load of money, get promoted back to back to back, and then figure it out for next season. And they chose that route. We all know how it ended up, but money that they would have had it not paid off in the end would have been substantial. Like it could have potentially crippled the club. There could have been massive financial obligations and problems after this past season if we hadn't gone back to back to back. And that's just, I love risk taking. I like the brilliance of 2 guys coming together and being like, we're just going to go for it. Like, we have the confidence. I think we can do it. And they did it, and they went for it. And I'll be very interested to see how close it got to not working out, especially with some of the signees we got, transfers and everything. It'll be very interesting to me to see how that storyline plays out during this season, because we all know how it ended, but I want to know what happened in between that moment and the moment we're at today. So yeah, y'all, overall, fantastic episode. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, I don't know if y'all have any thoughts, leave them in the comments and I'll respond to them. I am very much looking forward to, tomorrow's episode. Dadgum. Coming out tomorrow. Sweet. Wait, tomorrow or? Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah, and then a Hulu on Friday. So I'll see you Friday. Yeah, let me know what y'all's thoughts are. I'm going to give this episode a B+. Mind you, I'm a harsh grader. I don't remember how many episodes have gotten an A or an A plus or an A minus, but hadn't been very many. And it takes me getting like insane goosebumps, crying, jumping out of my chair, something like that for me to, or just feeling so impacted by something. Like the Millie tipping episode, a couple seasons ago, one of my favorite episodes. And I still think about that episode all the time. That definitely got an A or an A plus. So yeah, B plus for this episode. Very solid start to this season. Looking forward to where they go from here. And yeah, we'll just see how it turns out. So this is what it's going to be for the rest of the summer, y'all. You're going to get to see a lot of my dumb face. I will bring on guests. I'm going to bring on my buddy Steve Irwin at some point, trying to get another couple surprise guests for you. I will have video clips to play at certain points in time. I've just been working really hard on the house out here. If you can't tell, this is my mountain right here. And my house that I'm currently building is over there. Let's see if I turn the computer, if you can see it. You can see the deck and the Starlink, but you can't see the house. So that's part of the deck, and that's the part of our view. But yeah, y'all, appreciate everybody tuning in. It just feels good to be promoted third time, and yeah, I think one thing this season will do is make me nervous for the championship, especially on the financial side of things. So we'll see how it goes. I won't get too preoccupied with that right now, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next week on the Wrexham Texan. Up to town.
Search my soul with all your heart, you're gonna see it, you're gonna see it. And if you knock my soul, oh, with all your strength, you're gonna find it, you're gonna find it.